Have you ever read something you thought was simple, maybe even a little silly, only to find out it was hiding a massive secret? Well, today we're diving into a famous Bengali children's poem. But what if I told you it's not really about a terrible singer? What if it's actually a coded eyewitness account of a naval battle from World War I? Yeah, let's crack this thing wide open.
So on the surface, this poem by Sukumar Ray is just pure hilarious chaos. The scene it paints is one of total pandemonium, right? You've got people just running wild in a manic panic. And the cause of all this mayhem? You're not going to believe it. It's a song.
The source of all this citywide destruction is one guy, Bisham Lochan Sharma. He's just trying to share his musical gift with the world. The only problem is, his singing is so catastrophically bad that it is literally reducing the city to rubble.
And the scale of this musical disaster is just unbelievable. It's not just the people who are suffering. The poem tells us that even the fish can't take it anymore. They're desperately diving to the bottom of the lake, just trying to find a little peace and quiet.
It doesn't even stop there. His voice is so powerful, so awful, that the world itself starts to fall apart. Trees are shaking and collapsing. Now, in literary terms, this is a classic case of hyperbole. Wild exaggeration to make a point or just be funny. Keep that idea of exaggeration in mind, though, because it's going to be really important in a minute.
Okay, so this is where everything flips. All this silly, over-the-top imagery feels perfect for a children's rhyme, right? But what if the poet was using all that absurdity as a clever disguise for a much, much more serious story? You see, this poem isn't just nonsense for kids. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of wartime commentary. Sukumar Ray was using his art to tell a story that was forbidden, and he did it right under the noses of the people in charge. This is art as an act of resistance.
And the key to unlocking this whole thing is a tool called satire. By wrapping his very pointed political criticism inside a funny, seemingly nonsensical poem, Ray could say things that would have gotten him into serious trouble otherwise. It's an incredibly smart way to get around censorship.
And here's exactly why he had to be so clever about it. We're talking about colonial India during World War I. The British government brought in the Defense of India Act, which basically meant you could not criticize the government or report on sensitive military stuff at all. Doing so had severe consequences.
So, now that we have that historical backdrop, let's put on our detective hats. The poem is packed with these clever puns and hidden symbols that are basically a secret code. And once you know what you're looking for, this whole other story of a real-life battle just snaps into focus.
Okay, clue number one, and it's a big one. It's hidden in the original Bengali title, Ganner Gunto. Now literally, that means the impact of the song. But the word for song, gan, is a pun. It sounds almost exactly like the English word gun. All of a sudden, the impact of the song sounds a lot more explosive, doesn't it?
And this is where the allegory just gets brilliant. Our singer, Bisham Lochan Sharma, has a name that can be interpreted as Deadly Eye, a perfect stand-in for the muzzle of a cannon, specifically on the German warship SMS Emden. And the wise, Billy Goat, who finally puts a stop to the chaos? That represents the Australian warship, the HMS Sydney. The two ships literally butted heads, so a goat is kind of a perfect, sneaky symbol.
This timeline just lays it all out. The real naval battle happens in 1914, strict censorship comes down in 1915, and then, a few years later, Sukumar Ray publishes this poem that seems totally innocent. The timing is just, well, it's not a coincidence at all.
All right, now we have the key to the code, so let's go back and reread some of the poem, but this time, forget about the bad singer. Instead, listen for the sounds of a naval battle, for the sounds of a city being bombarded.
Remember this line? It's describing Bisham Lochan's singing style. It sounds innocent enough. He's just singing really loudly, booming out a song, right? Well, in a naval context, this line takes on a whole new, chilling meaning.
Because broadside isn't just a general term, it's a very specific military command. It means firing all the cannons on one side of a warship at the same time. That booming sound, it isn't a human voice. It's the thunder of cannon fire from the SMS Emden. The poem also describes all this destruction with huge buildings just collapsing. In a kid's story, that's just funny, over-the-top imagery, but when we read it through our historical lens, it becomes a direct reference to the real attack.
And that's because we know for a fact that the SMS Emden fired over 100 shells into Madras Harbor. It hit oil tanks, it started massive fires. The poem's tumbling mansions aren't an exaggeration. They're a poetic description of very real devastation.
And think about how the animals react in the poem. They're not just annoyed by a bad song, they're personified to show the true terror of war. Horses are frozen in shock. Birds are literally falling out of the sky. This is the pure chaos of a city under attack, a world away from a simple children's rhyme.
So how does this horrifying song finally come to an end? Well, the poem's conclusion is every bit as symbolic as its beginning. It represents the end of the battle and the return of a very hard-won peace. Our sagacious, or wise, billy goat, who we now know is the HMS Sydney, finally confronts the singer head-on. The poem doesn't pull any punches here. It describes the moment as a blast of brutal violence, which is a stunningly direct metaphor for the naval battle that ultimately destroyed the SMS Emden.
And after that violence, after the booming song is finally over, this is what's left. The poem says it grants the world the golden gift of silence. Just a beautiful, powerful final line.
And that silence, it isn't just the absence of an annoying noise. It's that profound, precious quiet that only comes after the terrifying roar of cannons has stopped. It's the peace that follows a violent conflict, a gift that feels truly golden.
So, a simple poem for children was secretly holding an entire history of war, censorship, and resistance. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other masterpieces are out there, hiding their true stories right in front of us, just waiting for someone to come along and crack the code?